On this episode of the Chris Elliott Real Estate Show, I am showing you the man behind the camera, Mr. Jacob Augustino, talking all things photos and video. And now to the show.
Welcome to the Chris Elliott Real Estate Show, where we bring you insights into the local Central Virginia real estate market, go in depth to answer your real estate questions and concerns, and interview local figures and influencers in the greater Richmond area. And now let's get to the latest episode with your host, Chris Elliott, and co-host, Maddie Ray.
Welcome. Super excited to be on the show with our in-house marketing manager, Mr. Jacob Augustino. Jacob, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really good.
You were super excited to do this episode.
Yeah. I think you can ask any person that operates a camera how much they enjoy being in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And it's almost nothing.
Yeah.
0%.
Very, very minimal.
Yeah.
Maybe -%.
Probably.
Yeah. So anyway, today we're going to be going into kind of Jacob's role within the company, what he does. And with that, kind of, we shot last week's episode of like, hey, these are questions that you should be asking your realtor. Today, we're going to go into kind of the photo portion. And the way you can look at this is, hey, this is the level and the quality that I should be expecting of an agent or of an agent's photographer when they come in. And God forbid you don't use us, kind of maybe some tips and tricks that you can apply to make your photos look better. So anyway, Jacob, thank you again for being on the show. Let's just jump right into it. How'd you get into the world of photography, videography, digital marketing, all that fun stuff?
So I was kind of just like always passionate about like movies, and I had a roommate that was actually a cinematography major. So just getting like to know him, and I was interested.
At VCU?
No, at Liberty.
That's right. You went to Liberty.
Yeah. But so
I got the state right.
Good job.
Yeah.
So I kind of like started there, and then I took a position at a church where I kind of did a little bit of everything, but mostly it was production on Sunday and the video and the YouTube and the branding and all that kind of stuff. So I was kind of forced into it more than anything. I mean, I was passionate about it, but it was kind of a necessity more than anything. So
Baptism by fire.
Yeah. So started doing that, really enjoyed it, didn't realize how much I enjoyed it, so I started just doing it all the time. Personal projects, doing it for other businesses, bringing on, people that I could do projects for. I have some weddings coming up, so just any type of photo or video is just really fun for me.
Yeah, absolutely. And you had a pretty rough boss at the last gig, from what I understand.
Yeah, he's my dad, so...
Just kidding. Mr. Augustino, if you're out there, he didn't say anything negative about you.
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing this, if you were to put it in years? Or how many hours do you think you have into this? Because you were working like a cool 60 to 80.
Yeah, cool 60 to 80 for about 3 years. Whether that's editing, graphics, photos, all that for about 3 years, plus... just like personal stuff, personal projects. And my favorite medium of like learning is YouTube and videos and online courses. Yeah. So, I mean, countless hours of that, just watching different YouTubers.
Isn't it crazy like how you can just learn pretty much anything these days for free?
Yeah.
Yeah.
YouTube is the greatest thing on the internet.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully by us saying that, they'll like boost our video a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe the algorithm can like pick it up. And,
we're sponsored by YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've got some reps in. So, you're not somebody that we just hired that like just picked up a camera yesterday. Like this is something you've been doing.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So let's get right into it. So what is the difference, Jacob, between photos and video that I can take with my good old handy dandy cell phone and something that we're taking with the equipment that we have? And
So I would say the biggest difference is going to be overall quality. Okay. And that's different to everybody. And with the increase in smartphone technology and in their cameras, it's, my phone shoots 4K. Well, my phone takes really good pictures, and they're filming entire Apple commercials with their iPhone.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
And what they don't really show you is the behind the scenes of that. And, they had a 20-person crew and the right lighting and filters. And, it wasn't just, the average person with their camera out.
15 hours of post edit.
Yeah. Way more than that.
Yeah.
So, so for the average person to take those kind of photos, you can get the photos.
It's possible.
It'll take the pictures.
Yeah.
But it goes a step further in hardware, whereas you need an interchangeable lens body. So something that can give you a wide, something that can give you a tight shot, something that's going to give you depth of field, which is really just that blurriness. And they try and fake it in portrait mode for Apple and certain things like that, but it's software based. It's not in camera. So the quality just isn't there. And I think what it really comes back down to is the quality of the picture that it's taking. So a phone only has so much memory. It only has so much ability to store those photos. And it's really just not the greatest, what is called a Kodak, okay? And a Kodak is really just how much information is in that picture, which is going to affect how much you can edit that picture.
Okay.
So what kind of separates the great from the good as far as a picture is the edit.
Okay.
Your smartphone will not be able to edit very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but the reason they don't put all of that in here is they got to keep it under a certain price point. I mean, as expensive as phones are these days, like I'm sure they could have the technology to do it, but then this thing would cost like $5,000. And
yeah. And it's really not what it's for either,
right.
They try and pack as much as possible in there. And I think that there's a market for if you want to get into just taking pictures and you can get really good camera for $1,000 in an iPhone, that's great. If you just want to try some photography, try it out.
Sure.
But when you start to get serious, you start to realize what the industry's using and how it all really works.
Yeah.
You'll realize very quickly that it's not going to stack up in the end.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell me, I mean, we're kind of going off topic here, but talk to me about our equipment. What kind of cameras are we using? The lenses, those things cost like $1 million. Yeah. Tell me about all that stuff.
So what we're using
Tell me about all the stuff I bought.
Yeah. So it actually works out really great because you bought a Sony and I have a Sony. So the color science, we can shoot two of those both together. And what they're going to do is they're going to look similar.
Yeah.
If I used, say, a Canon and I was using your Sony, it'd be a whole lot more editing. It would really mess up the workflow. So I like Sony because it is the best in low light. We've gone into properties that maybe don't have the greatest lighting situation, or if we have to shoot at a different time of the day, it's kind of dark. Sony's,
which this time of year is
all the
something
time. And
is
if it's
a challenge.
raining and there's no sun outside, we have to boost it.
Yeah.
Sony's can do that. They're the best leading camera for low light.
Which is important because if we just especially this time of year, if we were just gonna say, well, we're gonna wait till a sunny day, that massively throws off timetables.
This week we had 1 day to shoot.
Sure.
So that's kind of when we have to schedule things, and but it doesn't limit us too much as far as lighting. We use a 14 to 24 millimeter lens. Okay.
Yep.
So it's
my favorite lens.
Yeah. It's really wide. It's not the fish angle lens that curves it really bad. It's
those are super goofy.
Yeah, those are. I cannot stand.
I can't either.
When someone uses that as like a way to take pictures for real estate, or
I know.
I mean, really anything. But
yeah.
I mean, maybe skate videos in 2004, but I can't stand a fisheye. But
well, it's like the stupidest way to forget my opinion, but it's like the stupidest way to showcase a house. Like it's this warped view of every room. I mean,
you got all 4 walls, but at what cost?
Yeah.
So we use I forget what they call it. It's like
we're gonna get one angry comment, like whatever. The fish angle's the best angle.
Yeah, they're like
my dad's a fish.
Exactly. There's those people. So we use 14 to 24, which is basically going to give us as wide as you can really get without distortion.
Okay.
Which is really what you want in.
Talk to me about
real
distortion, because I thought this was pretty cool. You told me like at a certain point, like the walls are gonna look like they start bending.
Yeah. So when you buy certain lenses, if they're not high quality lenses, so we bought a high quality G Master lens for Sony that's going to give us
I hope so.
good results.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's pricey. It's probably $1,700 to $2,000
Yeah,
currently. I mean, and they hold their value. They don't go down in price.
Yeah.
And what you're going to get with that, though, is you're going to get those straight lines on your walls. You're going to get those straight lines with your windows. So it's going to better accurately represent the home in the end.
Yeah.
Again, you can fix some of like the little tweaks, but that's really more of like human error. But if you get it as level as possible, it's going to look way better than anything else a wide angle can do. I don't know if you've seen some of like the iPhone 11 pictures.
No.
Like if you get like really close to the head, it like stretches your head. Like if you're not in the center, it like completely distorts your
Really?
face. So,
I didn't know that.
It's kind of like a meme. But yeah, so that's kind of like what
Is that what the kids are doing these days?
Yeah. Yeah, my sister's 17 and she's like, "Hey, let me take a picture of your head," and she like makes it look really big. It's
Nice.
I don't know. But yeah, so that's
Sisters are great like that.
yeah. So that's kind of like camera and lens.
Okay.
And then how we get video is we use a stabilizer. So we use the Crane 2, which is basically just a handheld gimbal. It's motorized, and it's going to give us that smooth shot, that levelness that we want, that we can walk through a house and it's not shaky like
Right.
a
Yeah.
camcorder.
Yeah.
So
Or just a human.
Yeah.
Going through it. Yeah. So we're probably like $5,000 in equipment, I would imagine, between your camera, my camera, the stabilizer.
yeah, I mean that doesn't
the lab. Yeah, we're not even talking about the laptops.
software.
Yeah.
I mean everything. I mean all in, you're probably talking $10,000
Yeah.
plus paying someone
Yeah.
to knows how to use it.
Your
give
time
you
and
an end
effort.
product.
Yeah. So it's not cheap.
No.
Yeah.
Not cheap.
So okay. So talk us through what's your process from start to finish, from like, hey, I show up at the house to I, delivered product on the multiple listing service. What does that look like?
Yeah. So it kind of depends on whether the house is currently occupied or not.
Okay.
So,
let's talk an occupied house.
Occupied house, we're going to I'm going to come in and I'm going to introduce myself, let them know who I am, kind of give them the rundown of what I'm going to be doing.
You don't just kick down the front door.
No,
and just start snapping away.
I knock, politely and make sure that there's no like crazy dogs that are going to kill me. And
shoe booties.
Shoe booties, yes. We use shoe booties. And basically I'm going to ask them if there's anything that they want me to highlight. And then after I kind of have that conversation with the homeowner, I'm going to walk around and prep the space. So, making bathrooms look nicer and closing lids, making sure fans are off, but all the lights are on, and
sure.
Just kind of straighten up things. If there's like a garbage can outside by the, the garage, I'm going to move that.
Yeah.
So it looks better,
Yeah.
I'm not like painting walls or anything like that to make them look better, or moving furniture or anything like that. But,
2 hours of free manual labor when you hire.
Yeah. So I'm really just kind of
dragging dead bodies into the closets.
The final touches to make sure that the pictures are going to look the best.
Turn on lights, open up blinds.
Yeah.
Things like that.
And then after that, it's just going to be starting with pictures. So I'm going to start with the interior. I'm going to take all the pictures of the interior, go room by room. I'm usually going to get 4 pictures of each room in each corner.
Mm-hmm.
If there's like, a nice detail, or they have something that they want, like I said,
Give me some examples of stuff that we typically highlight.
So whether it's the homeowner or a realtor that paid for staging, or people put work into their home. I mean, they clean it, they make it look nice, they want it to sell.
As they should.
And I want to highlight that in the pictures. So sometimes they'll have like a fresh loaf of bread and, something nice in the kitchen, and, a cookbook, and they'll have some, like a bowl of fruit and some flowers and, just little things like that are going to add depth to and make it look like someone has lived there and loves their home.
Sure.
That's something you want to capture. And then like really nice details like fireplaces. I just shot a house the other day that had a pool table, which is really cool. It's like a game room that I guess it came with the house. So, So just things like that are going to, one, be attractive to a buyer, but just highlighting someone's home.
Sure.
So, and again, having different lenses for that to get tighter shots so that it's not super wide. You can get a nice, variety of pictures.
So if you're zooming in on that pool table, for instance, you're going to switch out the lens to get a close-in shot versus just one generic that's going to go through.
Yeah, so instead of me trying to get all wide shots, I'm going to try and sprinkle in just a few that don't make it seem like you're just looking at the same picture over and over again.
Yeah.
You sprinkle in just a little picture here and there of like, here's a little touch, a little bit more intimate. This is what it kind of looks like.
Yeah.
Because I think when people are looking for homes, all they see is wide angle.
Yeah.
Trying to get everything in the picture. And it's nice to just see like some home touches when you're looking for a home.
Well, I think too, if somebody's like, you think about how somebody's looking at homes, they're scrolling through Zillow. Like you said, most of the times it's just wide angle lens. So when they're kind of speed clicking through the photos, it just like, it's that pattern interruption of like, I'm going to get a close in shot of the pool table or that loaf of bread. You said loaf of bread. I just completely blacked out and started thinking about bread. But it's that close in detail shot that's maybe going to stop them for just that half a second and cause consideration. Whereas before they might just click.
Yeah.
So,
and I mean, that's something we even do like in our social. It's called stopping the scroll.
Yeah.
Something that's going to make someone stop and say, okay, what is this?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, to get back on topic,
sorry to interrupt you, good sir.
We start with pictures, and then we do video inside. So we try and get everything, and then I basically walk the exact same route, get similar looks that I've already gotten. So I've already planned it out with the pictures, so I already know what I'm going to do in the video.
Yeah.
So I'm not, lingering and hanging around for a long time.
Loitering.
Loitering, yes. Yeah. And then once I'm done with that, I'll let the homeowner know that, like, I'm going to be outside. I'm going to get pictures and video out there, and then I'm going to get everything out there, and then, just let them know when I leave. So,
yeah.
And then something, we're working on is drone footage. So
yeah.
I know how to do a drone footage and how to operate one, but yeah, we have to do it legally.
So what? And on that subject, so this is something that I was watching something the other day. The FAA is starting to crack down on this a little bit more. What is the thing that is super important for folks to know with regards to drone? And if maybe they're having somebody or a company that's doing drone, what should they be asking of that photographer to make sure that they have, or at least would be a good thing to know that they have?
Yeah. So if you are just flying a drone personally, recreational
for personal use,
you don't need really any type of license or anything like that.
Yeah.
As soon as a business or a person that's charging money or anything like that, they need a Part 107.
Commercial enterprise.
They need a Part 107. So,
which is
really just your like a driver's license for the sky. I mean,
yeah,
it's the best way to put it. It's under a pilot's license, but you have to know weather. You have to know how to call the FAA, how to be in the airspace with the helicopters and planes and other aircraft. You have to log your flight plans. It's a lot more in depth,
right?
Than me just getting to a house, throwing the drone up, snapping some pictures. If that house is maybe not near airport or certain things like that, you can do that.
Sure.
But if your home is, 2 miles from Richmond International and they're flying a drone, you might want to check if they have their Part 107.
Yeah, that's problematic.
And with that comes, the liability. I mean, if they crash that into your house or your car or your neighbor's house, you're going to want to know if they have that Part 107, because if not, then it's really going to cause issues for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah. Super cool. So you're basically going to be like Top Gun after you get this.
Yeah, you can call me Maverick.
Yeah. Okay. You're actually in that movie, aren't you? I thought I saw you in the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just watch out for Jacob this summer 2020. Tell me, I'm kind of going off script. Talk to me about some of the advantages of what we have you do versus if somebody, if an agent were to have just hire an outside company. Like I feel like we spend maybe a little bit more time and a little more attention to detail because all you're working on is our particular listings versus, we've got good relationships with a lot of guys that do, have professional photography companies, but I feel like with them, it's a little more of a volume game, kind of just run and gun. Talk to that if you would.
Yeah. So I think a lot of real estate photographers and videographers, to stay competitive, it's more of how many houses can you do.
Sure.
Unless you start getting into luxury listings where that's just its whole separate beast.
Yeah.
The normal
there's only so many of those in Richmond, so we're not really a market that sees as many of those.
Yeah, I mean this isn't
think.
Manhattan, New York, where every house is over $1 million. You
Right.
know, but what we try to do is we try to film like every house is $1 million in the time frame that we have.
Sure.
You know? So the advantage that I guess we have is that we're only focusing on our listings. We actually get usually some type of preview and information about the house, which helps us plan out the house a little bit more.
Sure.
Whereas you don't really get that too much if you hire outside.
They're just showing.
Here's the address. They show up, and then they have to plan.
Yeah.
So it allows us to be a little bit more efficient.
Yeah, and they've got like an hour where they got to get in, get out.
We spend a little bit more time taking some pictures and video just to make sure that we're doing it the best we can.
Sure.
Getting the highest quality pictures, making sure that lighting's a little bit better, which you can usually see in the end product, but it also allows us to develop a better end product. So something I actually worked on this week was the intros and outros and the tags for those videos, which is just upping the production value of those videos.
Yep.
Whereas if you hire an outside person, you're just not going to get that.
Yeah, it's more of a template type.
Yeah, it's a template. Here's your footage in a generic template, whereas we customize it to every house.
Yeah.
To our branding. And when someone sees our videos, especially with the new intro and outros, it's going to look. People are going to know that it's different.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this was up there.
Yeah. I'm excited for it.
Yeah.
I'm excited for it. So, for our friends listening and watching, so, hey, maybe if your agent doesn't have a, just kind of give you some walkaway tips. Maybe if your agent is hiring that outside, photographer that's just coming in, maybe think through and make sure that they're taking, if there's some features of the home that you want highlighted, make sure you voice that opinion of like, hey, I want to make sure that they get a shot of the backyard or the fireplace or, the roughed in third bath or whatever, just so that doesn't get missed.
Yeah. I mean, the homeowner knows what is good about their home,
They know the house better than anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they say, make sure you get this, and sometimes they put a lot of work into something and it's like really great. Like there was a finished like wood shop in one of the homes the other day, and it was like, it was like a big closet, but it was like this great space that like I probably wouldn't normally have photographed unless he told me.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, cool. All right, so you take the photos. Talk to me about what you do on the back end. So you get back to the office. What happens between, talk to me about the post edit.
Post edit is usually just as long as the actual edit, like filming. Yeah. Most of the time longer. So they say for every minute shot in like a movie, it's like 8 hours of editing.
It's crazy.
So we don't take that long.
Sure.
We would never get a video out, but
your listing coming fall of 2020.
So what we try to do is we try to balance that speed and
quality.
So creating things like intro, outro, tag templates that we can use for a majority of the homes is going to speedline that. Yeah. And then we're also doing things that some companies are charging extra for, and maybe your realtor doesn't want to pay for that. So these add-on services like sky replacement and grass replacement.
Yeah.
And, cleaning up the windows so it's not just this blown out white window, but you can actually see out the window. So we take a good approach at editing the photos so that they look the best. And then we also take as much time as we can on the videos. But yeah, it's definitely different because I've never done real estate videography until this year.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun because it's a different home each week. It's something, it's the same, but it's different.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So some houses are a little bit more challenging to shoot, which I actually kind of like because it's like, all right, how do I figure this one out?
Yeah.
So.
And dude, I've got to compliment you because I remember so I used to use an outside company. They were great. But when we hired you, I didn't really understand the full process of like what went in the background. And I was always wanting to speed things up. And you kind of stopped me. You said like, dude, no, we need to slow this down a little bit. Like, I get it. Like it needs to be out by a certain amount of time, but you purposely said, hey, I'm going to slow down a little bit. I'm going to spend a little bit more time on this to increase the quality of what we're actually putting out. So tip of the hat to you.
Yeah,
and obviously you're putting out great photos and video for our clients. Last but not least, and we'll move on. Talk to me. What are we doing as far as, so you also not only do our photography and our videography, but you're also doing the marketing once we activate listings. We got some cool stuff coming on the pipe. What's the marketing process once we activate a listing? What are we doing with social? What does that look like?
Yeah. So this will be a week later, but today, Wednesday, February 12th, is when we actually just launched the Elliott team.
Yeah.
And
super excited.
Which is new Instagram, updated logos, just to better represent what we do. Rebrand. Yeah. So that's kind of what I've been working on, so that when we do have a house listing, because we do podcasts, we do a lot of content, and we want to make sure that that our audience is finding the content. So we're going to have the Elliott team. It's going to be at Elliott Team RVA, is going to be the Instagram where we're going to have all of our listings, new listings, under contracts, sold, kind of bring you through the journey of some of these houses. And then once we get those, we're going to be posting, Friday home tours. All of our stuff's going to be up to date. I think a lot of real estate agents and teams and even large companies kind of like, they'll post something to new listings and then they'll forget about it, and it's not even a new listing anymore.
You get busy and then
so that's something that we're going to be very diligent on, and I think should be our priority. But yeah, we're going to be really just pushing all of our real estate and our the business side of what we do to that new account, along with the Facebook page that we have, and it's all going to be the same branding, the same look, the same feel, the same design.
Sure.
Because I think when someone sees a video, they want to say, okay, that's the Elliott team's video right there.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing I'm excited about is you're basically up in the quality standard of what we're putting out, which ultimately I think that it serves us, but it also serves our clients more because the standards are higher now for what they expect. They associate that higher standard with us, and in turn they associate that with the listings that we're putting out there. So it's a win-win benefit. So we've talked about a bunch of things. Let's just assume somebody's going to make a mistake. They're not going to hire us, or maybe they are going to hire us, and then make a good decision. What can clients do to prepare for that listing and that photo video appointment? What are some of the things that they can, what can they do to make their lives easier, to make your job easier?
So just making sure the house is generally clean is always nice.
Kind of stating the obvious, but sometimes you have to.
Yeah. I mean, just making sure things are clean. Some things that I like to see in a home, is if you have a fireplace, have a fire going.
Yeah.
Lights. If you have candles, light some candles. If you have, a vase, put some flowers in it.
Pour Jacob a glass of wine.
Yeah. Why not?
Get some soft music going.
Yeah. Let's make this a party. But those are really just the things that, I like to see. I've walked into a couple houses that have like dogs and pets, and like as great as they are, sometimes hard to shoot with a dog running around the house.
Yeah, like if your golden retriever's jumping on me the whole time, like that's gonna be tough.
Usually they're home, so I'll ask them, hey, can you put the dog in this room until I shoot the whole house, and I'll shoot that room last.
Yeah.
Or most of the time they'll just take it outside or take it for a walk or whatever. And then just when I'm actually there, if whoever the homeowner is, they can stay in one room, just so that I can be as efficient as possible.
So you're not asking them like, hey, move.
Yeah.
Well, it was so funny story. So when I was interviewing Jacob, I had him shoot my house because we didn't want to, we needed a house to shoot, and I didn't want to inconvenience anybody. And I made the cardinal sin of like following you around and always getting in the shot. And then like I remember you sent me the photos, and it was like, I was in the background, and I was like, okay, I can't blame him for that.
I had to like crop you, like Photoshop you out in some, and then someone's just like, I can't get rid of him.
Yeah. So funny. All right. So very cool. So now we're going to jump into the fire round, answer your questions from the Facebook and the Instagram, and now to the fire round.
Okay.
All right.
Now I'm producing, so I get to say the fire round question.
There you go.
All right.
Exciting.
Miss Maddie writes.
This is weird.
Right? Okay, number one, when it comes to pictures and videos on like just a regular old state-of-the-art house, how long does it take to edit all of them?
So the typical process is to shoot and edit?
No, just to edit.
Just to edit.
Yeah.
It takes, depending on the size of the house, that's really the biggest factor in edit time, is how many rooms they have and that kind of stuff. A normal house is going to take me about 30 minutes to 45 minutes. Bigger homes, about an hour.
To add on to that, how many pictures do you usually take?
Like final edited or total pictures?
Total pictures.
Total pictures, it's like
I know
probably a
this
couple
number.
hundred.
Yeah.
But I think we only export like 40. Depending on
it's
the
a lot
home.
to narrow down.
Yeah, it's a lot to narrow down.
Yeah. So usually depending on the size of the home, like final edit is 25 to 50. So you're probably taking 10 photos for every one that gets actually into the MLS. Would that be inaccurate?
Yeah, I've been trying to kind of cut that down, but I'd rather have a lot of photos that are in focus than only take one and it not catch focus for some reason.
Yeah, and then you get back to the office.
And it's like,
you're
well, can't do anything about this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that would be unfortunate. Okay. How much of a difference do you think professional photos make in getting a property to sell?
Makes a big difference. I mean, like if you're anybody that's even looked, just like you're searching homes on Zillow, you can tell really quick whether or not there's professional photos. And I think, your home still may sell, but the question is always like, is it selling for as much as it should? It's kind of like, hey, I could probably sell my used car right now, but man, if I got it detailed, it'd probably sell for a little bit more money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. If you have a nice camera, is it fairly easy to take good / semi-professional photos?
Ooh, technique over equipment.
That's a good question.
I think people can learn anything. But
that sounds like a qualifying statement.
Wow, that was the most diplomatic thing I think I've ever heard you say.
Yeah, I mean, I
think
if this doesn't work out, you should go into politics.
Yeah, that's the next move. I think it's like anything. It's about reps. I mean, it took me 2 hours to shoot a small condo my first time, and like now it'd probably take me 45 minutes, like if that. I think that there's a lot of learning about the camera that you have to do. So yeah, I mean, I think somebody could, but I mean, is that real estate agent spending 20, 30 hours a week taking photos and editing?
What was the original question again?
If you have a nice camera, is it easy to take good / semi-professional photos?
I think it enables you to take them, but you still have to learn how to use that piece of equipment.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the catch there. And once you learn it, I mean, it's not just taking them, it's the editing. I mean,
yeah.
So, I mean, if you looked at just the pictures that I took out of camera, they're not going to look nearly as good after,
Yeah.
It's almost going to, they're going to look similar to almost a cell phone picture to where, I mean, we talked about, the lines and that kind of stuff, but those cameras allow you to edit it. And that's the difference.
Yeah.
The ability to edit the picture beyond, what you normally see.
Yeah. There you go. Long answer to a short question.
All right. If a home is occupied, is it beneficial for the homeowner not to be there in order to expedite your process?
I mean, I would say it's nice to just have them kind of show me around sometimes, or just, here's the features that are good.
Give you the initial walkthrough.
Yeah, give me that walkthrough. But if they're not there, then I guess my time saver is, not having to introduce myself and put on, shoe booties and, those type of things. So, I mean, yes, it's quicker, but,
There's an opportunity cost.
Yeah, I'm shooting the house the same way whether they're there or not. So.
When Jacob shot my house, I did the cardinal sin of like wanting to try to talk to him and like follow him around and slowing him down. So I mean, we get it. Like, hey, you got a stranger in your house, but I think if he was just being frank, then yeah, it's easier to do an empty house. Jacob, thank you for your time today, sir. Appreciate everything that you do,
Thank you.
both during this and otherwise. If somebody has a question, if they want to reach out to you, if they want to connect with you, what's the best way to do so?
You can do that either Instagram, which is Jacob_Augustino, or you can email me at jacob@chriselliottrealestate.com.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
Very cool. All right, and that's the show. Like us on social. Check out the new logo. Let us know what you want to hear. Thank you guys for tuning in again. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks for joining us for the Chris Elliott Real Estate Show. If you have any questions or suggestions for future episodes, please contact Chris Elliott at chris@chriselliottrealestate.com or by phone at 804-980-1898. And please join us again next time for the Chris Elliott Real Estate Show.